What's up, everybody? bboyspaz here, and it has been a hot minute since I've shown you guys any sort of Ableton love at all. I'm sorry. Been pretty busy recently, working like 3 jobs, doing my thing or whatever, so this is just a little video. I don't know when I'll be able to make another one, but let's talk about RECHOP that sample. Today we're going to do Feel It All Around by Washed Out. If you know this track at all, it is a simple sample. He did not chop it at all. So what we're going to concentrate on is basically the warping that goes into how he sampled the track. So first off, let's listen to the track by Washed Out. This has to be like the nastiest sample. Okay, and you get the gist of it. So now, let's listen to the original song so you can hear how he didn't do anything to it at all. Just a straight loop. Well, not a total straight loop. He did chop it to make it loop the way he wanted it to, but that's pretty much it there. Alright, so let's jump into Ableton and talk about how you would do this. So, bam! Ableton Live. Woo! Now, this is your main screen, as we all know. This is what I like to call the live screen. We don't need that right now. We want to use the linear screen. So, what I'm going to do is hit this little button here. My little pancakes, if you want to call them that, and that's what changes it to, bam, the linear view. So now we use this little triangle here. I'm just going to open up an audio track so I can see it. That's really not important. You can minimize them and make them larger. It's really just whatever you want to do. Down here in my Finder, I have my track. It's an MP3. I'm going to take it and I'm just going to drag it right into Ableton, and there it is. Normally it takes it a moment to analyze it, but I already analyzed it, so there it is. So now what I want to do is find my starting point of the sample. So to do that, I'm just going to listen to the song. We can use this little box up here to zoom if we need to. So I'm going to zoom in some so I can see the waveform a little bit better. There. So this right here was the start of the sample. So I'm going to just cut it off there. I did that by pressing Command and the letter E. Select this beginning part, delete it. Now I'm just going to drag this back to the beginning because I know I need that. And since this is not warped, because I have my Ableton set to not auto warp things, I'm just going to click this little warp button. Now, what you're seeing here on the right, this is what it will look like if it's not warped at all. Just a blank box with the waveform in it. Once you warp it, you'll start seeing these numbers, and now you know that it's been warped. The first yellow box is okay, here's where 1 starts. Normally that's not always the case, so I'm going to use this little box right here, zoom in on it, and I'm just clicking it and holding it and dragging it around. Up and down is in and zooming in and out, left and right is moving left and right. And so here we are. Here's my waveform, zoomed way in on it. You'll notice these little tabs here, these little blank white lines. Those are basically Ableton analyzing the transients, which are the hits. Here I am pointing at the screen like you guys can see that. The hits like this right here. So it's like, oh, Ableton sees that. It's like, okay, this is more than this, whatever. It's like, bam, this is something I can see. So it's easy to warp based off of those. So I know the first beat of what I want is right here on this transient. And if you know anything about music, what's going to be hitting on beat 1? The kick drum. So it's real easy. Double click on that, get a yellow box. And then I'm going to right click on it and set 1-1 here, meaning that's the first beat. So if I play it, And you know what? That actually wasn't the first beat I wanted. I don't think. Let's go back and see what I messed up. I started too late. There it is. This guy here. So there. Set 1-1 here. I also want this gray line above the waveform. I want this to start with 1-1 because that's my loop indicator. Well, what am I doing? Okay. So now that I've found the first beat and where I want to start, then you want to start counting out the measures and figuring out how long it is so that you can get it in time with Ableton. So let's play this and count it out. 1, 2, 2, 2, 3, 4, 3, 4, 5. So that's a whole set of a measure. So what I just did is I double clicked it and then slid it over to 5. So now it's in time with Ableton. Except for the fact that I don't have 1-1 starting in the right place. There. And just because he uses most of this whole phrase and the second part, I'm gonna keep going down and keep warping. So just watch along, see if you can follow. 2, 3, 4, and phrase. So there's another phrase. So that's 9. Mark it off, put it in place. There. So that's the end of the whole phrase. That's the only part of the sample that was used in the track. So now, because I know I don't need the rest of the track, I'm going to come to the end here and drag my loop bar all the way back. I'm also going to drag this little flag. That's the play bar, I guess. Drag that back, and you see how it's making at the top my waveform longer or shorter, because that's how long it's going to play. 17 measures, and that's it. Cool. Now that we've done that, we can actually start warping it and chopping it and stuff. So what I want to do, because I'm trying to make it sound like the actual Washed Out song, is get it in the tempo of the Washed Out song. So I'm going to play that song, and then I'm going to tap the tempo by pressing this button here along with the song. So here we go. Tap, 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 tap. Cool, so we can safely say that that song's probably 87. Now I have it, but it's like, hey Spaz, why doesn't it doesn't sound the same? We have to change the way we're actually dealing with this warping. So right here you'll see this where it says beats. That's how it's going to warp it, warping it by beats. Or if you click on that, it can warp it by tones, texture, repitch, complex, so on and so forth. Repitch is a normal warp. So like if I had a record player and I put my hand on it, slowed it down, it'd be like, and it would pitch down. So this is the same thing. So if I turn on repitch, that song was warped at 120, so now it should sound pitched low. Now, ooh, that was nasty. So, here's a problem that happens. Do you see how I warped every phrase? If you listen to this, what it sounded like is in the second phrase it pitched down because that section must have been longer or shorter. Ooh, nasty. So what I do normally is when I'm warping long sections, I actually don't warp in between that section. So I turn all that off. So I just warp the section. So if I'm doing a 9-bar phrase, I don't do 1, 5, and 9. I just do 1 and 9. So you won't get that weird, stretchy nastiness in between the song. Okay, so how did he chop it? He chopped it extremely simple. So he took this first bar phrase. And that was it. Because in the second half of that first phrase, there's this little bongo thing at the end. He didn't want that. So that's gone. We don't need that. Boom. So he took this, hold Option, click and drag, and he just looped it. Loop it again. One more time, and then the part with the ding. Oh, you know what? I messed that up. He actually did use that bongo part there. So let's go back. Let's go back. We do need the bongo part. We'll put it here at the end, and then we will copy everything else. Bam, bam, bam. So, I don't think he had those little piano parts in there. I didn't listen close enough. But here's a little cool trick that I like to do. So, at the beginning of this, you can hear blatantly where I looped it. Like, you almost hear it start over. So, what you can do, because the song phrasing is the same, is I can actually drag this out just for that beginning part. And you don't hear it. It doesn't, because before when I was looping it, it sounded like the beginning of the song or something. So that's a quick little tip to, you know, mask where your chops are, so it feels like it's just flowing like the song. And you're like, oh man, this song flows so well. And I think also at the end, he kind of did that, because I'm pretty sure that piano wasn't in there. Yeah, did you hear it? It's like, nee. So I'm going to copy this. I'm going to paste it at the beginning of this. Oh, nope. I'm wrong. The piano's still there. So the piano's probably there. So, that's it. That is it. Feel it all around. Washed out. Let's listen to it one more time. Looks like someone's ringing my doorbell, so I will have to go. But I hope you enjoyed this RECHOP your sample, And don't forget to like the page or subscribe or whatever. Stalk me. Get up on my Facebook. Get up on my SoundCloud. Get up on my YouTube. Get up on my life. And hopefully I will have more time to make more videos. Also, leave suggestions of any type of videos or anything you want to see, and I will try and get it done. All right. Peace.